The United States military began
On February 28, the United States and Israel launched the largest military operation against the Islamic Republic of Iran in history. Among the dead, Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. I'm Bruce Pannier. I've spent 4 decades covering the region. This is the Turan Research Center, where we cut through the noise to break down real risks, real capabilities, and real scenarios. Subscribe. Let's get into it. Joining me today, Alex Grinberg, Senior Fellow at the Turan Research Center and Captain in the Reserves of Israeli Intelligence, and Negar Mojtahedi, award-winning journalist with Iran International. Thank you both for being here. Let's start with the big picture. How would you assess the strike so far?
I really feel like this joint Israeli-American operation is happening potentially in 4 stages. Number 1, where you decapitate the leadership of the Iranian regime, which is still in the process. Obviously, it's not just one man, it's an entire network, and the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps is much, it runs like a mafia-like system. Number 2, you've got to, degrade the military defense capabilities of the regime so that they don't have the opportunity to retaliate as strongly as maybe they would like to. Number 3 is to further degrade and collapse the economy. And then number 4, I would say, is where you would allow the opposition and for the people of Iran to rise up and take over those institutions.
Let's zoom out to strategy. What are the stated and unstated goals of this joint operation? What options does the United States and Israel have in front of them going forward?
The unintended goal of this campaign, in my view, is definitely regime change. Not in regime change in the sense that we know it of Iraq or Libya, but to allow this regime to collapse so that the people of Iran can take over. I mean, you already in many ways have your foot soldiers on the ground with the people of Iran. I don't foresee American or Israeli foot soldiers on the ground inside Iran. I don't think that they have the capability or the political will to do something like that. That being said, I do foresee this campaign taking months, and the military might that has amassed in the region is akin to the invasion of North Africa during World War II. So this is not to be taken lightly. This is not Operation Midnight Hammer. This is not what we saw during the 12-day war where you're quickly in and you're out. Something like this, again, like I said, is going to unfold in several stages. So it's going to take quite some time, but it's going to be limited to aerial and sea, I would say. And when it comes to the options after regime change, the Iranians do in some ways have an opposition, although this opposition lives outside the country. And that's because the Islamic Republic of Iran has been very good at limiting the ability for leaders to network inside Iran. And anytime there was any sort of Nelson Mandela-like figure, that individual is rotting away in Evin prison, sadly. So you are going to have to look to the West. The people of Iran are calling for the Crown Prince of Iran, the Shah, the son of the former Shah, the last Shah of Iran, to return. He does have a lot of popularity at this point. People who I knew in Iran who were either believed in kind of evolutionary change and reform, people who were anti-monarchy have now turned to him simply because they don't really see another option. So people are coalescing under his name at this point. So I think that if Western governments start to recognize him, Reza Pahlavi, as some sort of transitional leader and delegitimize the regime, stop with negotiating, stop with the talks. In Europe, you need to expel diplomats, shut down your embassies, et cetera, et cetera. I think that would really help for the day after.
So the question is, can a popular uprising actually bring down this regime, or is the system too resilient for that? Alex, I'd like to start with you.
Iran is often compared to the adjacent Arab countries like Syria or Libya or Iraq. And so the argument goes this way: don't touch the regime because chaos will reign. Iran, and look at Syria and Iraq, what's going on there. But again, I think that this scenario is highly improbable for Iran because Iran is very crystallized nation state. It's not a conglomerate of Arab tribes that indeed fight each other. Don't see any prospect that people in Iran start an intestine war against each other. What can be possible, indeed, some period of interregnum until the moment that, let's say, those Iranians who want to organize and to fight against the regime take the power in their hands.
And surrounding both operations, there's been a steady stream of reports and leaks suggesting real disagreements between Washington and Jerusalem over strategy, targets, and states. How real are those disagreements, and where specifically might the U.S. and Israel diverge on war goals as this campaign continues? Negar?
I think that the United States and Israel are quite united in their goal here. You know, if you remember in the weeks and the months leading up to the 12-day war, there were a lot of leaks in the media and reports coming out over a rift between Netanyahu and Trump when it came to Iran, that they were diverging on their goals. And it's something that, you know, as a reporter, I believed it. And then as it turned out with the 12-day war, that was all just a ruse. Which is quite smart when you think about it strategy-wise, because if you want to conduct military strikes against an enemy state, you don't want to put all your cards on the table, right? You don't want the enemy state to know what you're up to and what you're doing. So I think it's actually quite smart to, you know, at least make the appearance of divisions. And I feel that they're quite united. Now, is Trump's party united when it comes to this matter? Probably not, because within Trump's administration, you do have figures like J.D. Vance and those who are against these so-called forever wars, et cetera, et cetera. But I do feel that still the majority of Republicans and even Democrats are in support of this. And they don't see it as a forever war. They see it, in fact, as a war to end other wars. The Iranian regime is seen as the aggressor and the bully of the Middle East.
What are you watching in terms of regional reactions? Who is positioning themselves and how?
Never foreseen this Iranian reaction against Dubai, for example. I did think about their retaliation between the brackets against the Saudis, despite the truce they signed several years ago. Still, it is highly surprising. I mean, the attack on Dubai, because half of the Iranian business elite resides in Dubai. So seems quite illogical for them to do that, but I always tell myself and everyone else that please forget this word logic. Everyone has its own logic. Our logic is not American, and our both logics are not Iranian or Chinese. It's this regime is suicidal because it is a real ideological regime. Never mind that it is corrupt. Yes, everyone is corrupt, but still they are serious in their belief. So they will never give up their creed, and they're ready to drag everyone else with them to hell. So this is what's going on now. If Iran managed to switch side to become a normal country, a normal regime in terms of business basic freedoms, it should not become a Denmark for that. It's enough that the regime spends money to improve the life of its citizen. And in that event, Iran, only sky will become the limit of Iran's aspirations. And it will be necessary and a deadly blow to political Islam, which is indispensable. But again, it depends on the Iranians themselves. As far as I can see, there is a lot of will and desire among all the Iranian diaspora to support Israel and America, despite everything, despite all the garbage that we can read in newspapers.
What about Hezbollah? After everything that's happened to the organization over the past year, how much of a threat do Iran's proxy networks actually pose right now? Are they capable of escalating, or are they largely degraded?
There is an axis of evil stretching from Moscow via Tehran and Beijing is factually baseless, because neither country of the three can have a mutual and equal relationship with the others, because each one is very proud. Each one has imperial aspirations. For example, China, only China sets up rules for dealing with China. It's not Iran and China, it's China that dictates to Iran oil prices, etc., just as it does to Russia, and just as Russia does to both. And of course, we've talked about the relationship between Russia and Iran. There is an atmosphere of mistrust.
Thank you. It looks like we're out of time, but I thank you both for being on the show. Alex Grinberg, Negar Mojtahedi, thank you very much for being with us. That's all for now from the Turan Research Center. We'll continue to cover this story as it develops. And please, like, subscribe, or leave your opinion in our comments. Your opinion really matters to us. Thank you.